Mr. Granville.
That's me, Mr. Siddall. How are we?
Thank you for coming down.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I must say, I'm a bit upset. I was doing a bit of research into you before I come here.
Yeah.
And it seems that you were quite accustomed to the podcasting world.
Well, I did the Beecham's podcast. No, not Beecham's. The business podcast one. Yeah.
I was doing a bit of AI research and I pulled quite a bit of data from that podcast.
Did it really? That's quite mad.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Well, so the focus of this for me is I want to talk about business, health and wellness, and personal development. Mm-hmm. And so I thought you'd be the perfect guy because you actually factor in quite a lot about that. But yeah, obviously business is one of my main focuses. Yeah. And you've got quite an interesting business.
Yeah, I suppose it is quite interesting. Well, we made a product that probably wasn't too interesting previously, nice and interesting again. Trying to kind of bring it forward to the 21st century as it were, and try and reinvent the Welsh cake a little bit. So we kind of use nice organic flour and proper butter, and we minimize or completely reduce any additives or preservatives or anything that's going to mess with your health, basically. So you can have a healthy treat and have a healthy snack, but a naughty snack that's still not terrible for you, as long as you account for your calories and stuff like that. You can fit it into your diet and keep your gut health well and all that business, So yeah, we kind of got a product that's fun but don't feel too bad about when you do have it,
Tell me about, obviously, I know bits about this, but for the benefit of the podcast, where did that come from, the idea for that?
It came from myself and my mum used to run a little side business called Dio Maria. It was a deodorant. My mum's name's Maria. It was a deodorant that we made. And honest to God, we just pulled off a simple recipe from the internet and started making it. And it started selling really well. People were really interested in it. One of our taglines was it's so good you can eat it. Because all the stuff in there you could eat. And I think if you put something on your skin, you should be able to eat it as well. If you put something in your body on your body at all, you should be able to eat it. So it was organic arrowroot, shea butter. It wouldn't taste very nice, but if you wanted to spread it on some toast, you could eat it. And it was all organic ingredients, and it was a little refillable tub, little aluminium kind of tin tub like that. And we made little molds so you could do refills and bring the price down and stuff. We were selling to some refill shops, those zero refill shops, and we were selling to some organic shops. And we had a nice little customer base kind of locally. So I was pushing that as a bit of a side business. And one of the places we used to sell was a farmer's market type thing. It wasn't quite a farmer's market. It was a little bit lower end than a farmer's market. But we were at this, it was called Indie Superstore. And we rocked up one day. And so this was just before lockdown. And then lockdown happened. And then I was like, right, well, this is a good opportunity to focus on that. Maybe we can make this a business. It turns out you can make it a business. Someone on Dragon's Den, I think called Fussy or something like that. I think they very, very recently won Dragon's Den, and they've got more ingredients in theirs than ours. But it's way bad packaging and stuff like that. But anyway, and then so we were there selling this deodorant, £5 a pot, and people were rocking up with food and just selling 150 donuts, £5 a donut. They had a queue of people, and in half an hour, 150 donuts were gone, and we were like, what is happening? What? We've sold 3 pots of deodorant. This is mental. So we were like, sod this, we're going into food. Let's go into food. We love food. As a family, we've always we've always been fussy with the food that we eat. If you ever claimed you preferred dairy milk over Galaxy, in my house it's get the blindfolds out, let's prove it. You got to sit down, you got to blindfold, you got to try 4 different chocolates, you got to say which one you think is which product or brand, and then you got to say which one you think is the nicest. And then if you were wrong, you found out, actually I do prefer Galaxy over dairy milk, or whichever way around. So me and my mum sat there, literally, we probably ignoring new customers for our deodorant at this point. Proper ADHD brains on the go, just we're bored of this now, let's move on. And she said she makes a banging Welsh cake. And I was like, yeah, but you can't just go out and do Welsh cakes. Everyone's selling 20p Welsh cakes everywhere, full of crap, full of preservatives, full of just rubbish products. That's fine. There's a place for that. People want a big bag of Welsh cakes for £4. It's fine. But you can go to the supermarket and get that crap. It's just like, why would we do what already exists? So we were like, well, we could do like all these different flavours. We could do savoury, and we could use nice ingredients, and that'd be good. And then we sat there, and I was like, what would you call a business like that? What would you call such, because that's pretty rogue. And she was like, that's not a bad name, is it? Rogue Welsh Cakes. And I was like, yeah, the Rogue Welsh Cake Company, let's do it. I reckon we can do it. And we rocked up at the market the following week. We just said to the organisers, can we come here with Welsh Cakes next Saturday? They were like, yeah, they didn't care. They were like, yeah, have you got food hygiene? Nah, they didn't check anything. We rocked up with 150 Welsh Cakes. They've gone in an hour. I think we ran like 4 or 5 different flavours. And then we rocked up the next week with 200. And again, hour and a half, they were gone. And then 3 months later, I'd quit my job and I ran the Rogue Welsh Cake Company through all of lockdown. It was mad. It was a mad turnaround.
So on that then, that's a point I want to get, because a lot of people talk to me about business. A lot of people start a business, and side hustle culture is like really popular at the moment.
Yeah.
When do you take the leap to jump into that, that new business that you're starting? Because you had obviously a secure job at the time.
Yeah, I was working in the hospital. The hospital as like a healthcare support worker in mental health. But I was kind of desperate to get out of that job, so I didn't really need any excuse. Lockdown, although it had lots of different terrible things, but it had some positives, like you were quite restricted in what you could do. Quite literally, sometimes you couldn't even leave the house, right? But what that meant was I wasn't spending money elsewhere, going on holidays and seeing the boys and all that stuff. So it was like, well, I've got all week free. I may as well fill that time up with making loads and loads of Welsh cakes and starting a business and all the paperwork and crap that comes with that. And then on the weekends, where I would normally maybe be looking to go and have some fun or train or do whatever, you couldn't do anything. But you could go to markets and sell. You could go to outdoor markets and sell products. And if they were deemed as essential, which I don't think Welsh cakes are quite essential. As much as I'd love them to be, I don't think they are essential. But that was available to me. So I did it. And I think like kind of the first 2 years was mainly in and out of lockdown and things not quite, being back to normal. And it was a lot of small businesses started and thrived. And a lot of them actually failed after lockdown. They were like, shit, back to reality. Oh my God, I just got to go and get my proper job now. But, I've never been in a good financial situation in terms of like, be able to take a year off work and start a business, and invest and stuff like that. So this was an opportunity for me to go, well, actually, my money's going a lot further now. And I can knuckle down and do this. But a year into starting the business, I had 2 kids then. I was blessed.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I was blessed. And their birthday, the 20th of October 2021, is 1 year after we officially became a business on the 20th of October 2020. So I never celebrate the anniversary of the business starting because it's the anniversary or the birthday of my kids. So I never get to actually celebrate that. Maybe when they're 18 or so and I don't have to celebrate their birthdays as much, I can be like, the business is 19 years old, So that really then helped me knuckle down again because, again, life changes, right? So, like, I'm focusing on the stuff that's going to push me forward now rather than just having a nice time and going off and traveling. And I was always coming home, working like a maniac, going, right, I got about $3,000 in the bank now, let's go. And I'd just go and have fun. I'd live in Australia, go around Southeast Asia, go around Europe. I was living that life. But as soon as kids come, you go, well, you kind of can stick them in a backpack and take them with you, but 2's probably quite difficult. So all of a sudden I was at home, right? And I had stuff to do. So it allowed me to work on the business more, in a weird way. Most people go, I've got kids now, I can't do it, but I've got to focus now, like, do I want to raise them being a come and go healthcare support worker making just above minimum wage? Or do I want to say, look, while you guys were growing up, I was growing this, and it's there if you want it, or it's, and it's like it's a thing that I can say, look, this is it, I didn't just work, I worked for this, so yeah.
So on that then, I was going to say to you, like, obviously starting a business is very scary. I was going to ask you, did you have any doubts? But then you throw in kids in the mix as well.
Yeah.
You kind of got this situation where you've got no choice.
I still have doubts every day. If you know, say for example, like I've just been to a wedding for 3 days now where we supplied the Welsh Cakes. It was a friend of mine as well, but we supplied the Welsh Cakes, and obviously we had quite a lot of beers over the 3 days, you know, whereas normally I like to keep myself nice and healthy, and my friends can bring out a different side of me. So I mean, all this week I'm ready to light the match and do the walk away action scene where it's all just burning behind me, you know. I got to tap up my PA today. I got to tap up Roz, and you know, we'll have a meeting tomorrow and she'll nail me down. She'll sit me in front of that laptop for like 4 hours straight, and we'll just get everything on track again. It's probably not far off track, but I've just had like 6 days away from the business, and I'm a bit like, shit, is everything okay? I don't know, you know. So yeah, it's there's doubts every week, of course, still, no matter what.
So if you didn't have your PA, how do you think you'd manage on a day to day?
God, I do struggle with it, and having a PA doesn't actually make me take the foot off the gas, as it were. It helps me keep it on, because she's like, welcome back, reality now, blah, blah, blah. Whereas maybe the rest of this week I might just kind of be like, oh God, and then things will fall behind and I'd be an irresponsible business owner. But with Roz, like, you know, on the way here I listened to a 2-minute voice note of her going, this, that. And I go, yes, thank you. They are the things I need to do, and I will do them. I'm really good with a list, right? Give me something to do, I'll do it. Make me find what needs to be done, and I'll find everything that doesn't need to be done, everything that can possibly distract me. But if you go, here's 5 things, you've got to do them today. Send that email, ring that person, you know, sort out the stock, whatever it is. Watch me thrive then. I'll be like, if you've got me a list to tick off, I'm ready to go, you know?
I think it's hard, isn't it? I mean, I'm not at that fortunate stage to have a PA at the moment. Yeah. But ChatGPT is my PA.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think all mine does is use that anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's obviously a good tip, isn't it? I think accountability is a strong point there, isn't
100%,
it? And having someone that can just oversee you.
Yeah, it keeps me accountable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because when you're in the thick of it, it's easy to let things slip, isn't it?
For sure.
Myself.
Yeah.
So with the Welsh Cakes then, obviously you've explained how that came about. You saw somebody else and you kind of jumped on that. But yeah, that's pretty much like a Welsh dish, if you like. People are very particular with their Welsh cakes.
Yeah,
and you've come out with all sorts of unique and wonderful tastes.
Yeah.
How did you test the waters with that? And also, how did you come over it? Was there any backlash with that? People?
Yeah, there still is, really. I think the word kind of zeitgeist, when something becomes acceptable in a small pocket, it kind of becomes more acceptable in the zeitgeist, in the kind of like, there's ever heard of like morphic resonance? It's that thing where like a bunch of rats will run a maze for treats in, say, New York City, and then over in LA they'll make rats run that same maze and they'll do much better times. It's almost like those rats have learned it. And so now it transfers over. It's really weird. It's a really weird concept, and I think it's quite difficult to prove. But it's kind of like it just, when you nudge something forward a little bit, it becomes more acceptable. So the first kind of few months, a lot of people, you can't mess with the Welsh cake, you can't do this, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, in a couple of months, people are like, this is a great idea. Yeah, I love this. I've been waiting for someone to do. Maybe you just find your audience, or maybe I don't know, maybe there's some unified learning, but. Yeah, there was one of the main issues we have is because of our price range, because of the organic flour and the proper butter and all that. We come up. Our customers should be people who already love Welsh cakes, but they're not really, because if you already love a Welsh cake, and quite frankly, there's only shit Welsh cakes around, then you probably won't. You'd be like, well, why should I pay that much for a Welsh cake? I already love them when they're bad. So then you've got to convince people who think they don't like Welsh cakes because they've only had bad Welsh cakes, but Welsh cakes can taste really good. So you kind of come up against two barriers. People who go, I don't like Welsh cakes. You go, no, you've only had a bad Welsh cake. Maybe you don't like custard slices either. That's because you've only had one of those massive ones from Greggs. You can't, or like you think you don't like Portuguese tarts because you've had like the crappy custard tarts. Like, no. Like, you go to Portugal and have one of them proper Lisboa Portuguese bad boys. Like, you'll love that. Flaky pastry and fresh custard and all that. So it's like convincing people who don't like Welsh cakes that actually they've only had bad ones. Convincing people who already like Welsh cakes that actually Welsh cakes can taste way better if you pay a little bit more and people make them with love and care and attention. They can taste even better, and they can be like the impressive thing you put out for a meeting or put out for your friends when they come round, and they actually go, instead of going, thanks, they go, bro, these are banging. What are these? These are Welsh cakes. And it's people who don't like raisins. Like, people who don't like raisins. Some people don't like Welsh cakes purely because it's got raisins in it. I'm like, well, this is chocolate and salted caramel. And they go, well, I like those things. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. Then it's just a Welsh cake with those things in it, It took a good few years of us, like, convincing people, like, just try it. This is a small piece of cake with nice things in it. If you don't like that, then you just don't like cake in general, So yeah, breaking down that Welsh cake barrier was definitely difficult, and it, like, sometimes you'd be at markets like, God, if I have to explain this one more time to someone, I'm gonna lose my mind. And in the early years, I was wearing the full Welsh dress and the bonnet and stuff, and you're trying to have like a philosophical cake conversation with someone dressed like that, and it's freezing, and it's like, middle of November, and you're like, oh please God, like, so definitely some barriers at the start for sure. Had to be persistent with it.
You mentioned then about the taking the raisins out and stuff. Was that, so I read something to do with your grandmother suggested that, is that right? Yeah,
so my grandma suggested a few different flavours and stuff because myself and my sister didn't like raisins growing up. Obviously we're adults now, so we just like anything. But like, we definitely hated raisins when we were growing up. I think my sister hated them more than me. And I just thought, I don't like raisins either. Maybe trying to be cool or whatever, follow her. She's the older sister, and she is very cool. So, I was probably just trying to impress her. But we didn't really like raisins growing up. And my mum would always make white chocolate and cranberry, or she'd make one of my favourite ones, coconut and mixed spice. Absolutely banging. And people would come round and there'd be Welsh cakes on the table, and they'd go, oh yeah, I'll have one out of politeness. And then they'd go, holy shit, what's that? Like, can I have some more of them? Make another pot of tea. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's go. These are banging. So, like, it was that as well that made us realise there is a gap in this market for good Welsh cakes, because we just need to find the customers, which was always the balance.
On that then, do you find that you have to keep rechanging the ingredient, sort of the flavour profile, and how do you pick what actually you produce when you? I'm sure you've got a million ideas going on.
Yeah, I'm mainly ideas. I'm ideas, and then you need to pin me down to a table to get them out. But we trialed a lot of flavours at the start, and then so we would take, at the beginning, just really rough, because my business mind isn't always great, but like I would do like 100 of each one, and we strictly did no traditionals. Like, strictly, we were like, if you want traditional Welsh cakes, they exist. Here we're doing these ones, right? So if you like any of these flavours and you like Welsh cakes, you'll love these. So we would take like 5 different flavours to a market, and we'd take 100 of each, and then I would basically kind of take rough notes of which ones have sold out the fastest or haven't sold any of, and we always ran a savoury option as well. Cheese and leek was always a big seller, and we just did it based on that. And then once we had kind of 5 or 6 flavours that we knew sold well every single time, guaranteed, people love chocolate orange, people love chocolate salted caramel, white chocolate cranberry, we ended up having to do a traditional in the end because the demand was so high. So we played around and did like a traditional based on the Batterbrith loaf cakes, and that actually won us a Great Taste Award, which we were super proud of in the end. So sometimes the customer is right in the sense of, like, there is still call for traditional. Once we have that, then we ask the audience, basically. I'll ask my Instagram following, I'll just say, look, we're going to release a monthly special every single month. We want you guys to not only give me some suggestions for it, what do you like, what do you want to see, but then we'll ask you to vote for a top 3 out of that. So I'll ask for suggestions. Once things come up once or twice, sometimes 3 or 4 times, I'll go, that's going in for the vote. Chuck it in for the vote, see what wins. It's good. It's nice. it's a nice bit of feedback from customers. What do they want? And we can provide that, you know? It's good.
It's a nice touch as well, because getting your customers involved in the story.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's someone sat there going, I really want this flavour.
Exactly,
and they
yeah.
make that flavour as like customer for life, you know?
Exactly that, mate. Yeah. And we'll run it for a month. If it like starts outselling other flavours, then I go, okay, maybe these guys are onto something. Let's have a look. So recently we did the lemon and poppy seed, and it did sell well. And I was thinking about maybe getting rid of chocolate orange to replace lemon and poppy seed, but once we looked at the figures, it wasn't quite there. So it wouldn't have been worth making a full change, you know?
It's kind of a way though, isn't it? Like, you know, using your customers as the marketing
Yeah.
development team effectively.
Yeah, exactly, right? And people always want to give you an opinion on stuff, so why not just ask for it and say, look, tell us what you want to see in the Welsh Cakes. And our motto is, if you can think of it, we can do it with the Welsh Cakes. So we'll make it happen at some point, you know? Yeah, it's fun.
What's been your biggest challenge in scaling? Because you started off, you said, on the market stalls. Now actually you're in a market stall with a proper shop front now.
Yeah.
What's been your scaling struggles with that?
It's quite a few. I'd say one of the main scaling issues is on the business side of things is like having to wear all those hats. Like, I've got to do accounts, or I've got to speak to the accountant, and I've got to know the answers to the questions they're asking me, and I'm going, huh? Like, they're like, what software do you use for your accounting? And I'm like, the bank? The banking app? I don't know. That's about all I've got, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, so that wearing those different hats, I can always sell. I'm great at, again, like I said, give me a task, right? You got 1,500 Welsh Cakes to make by the weekend. Sweet. I'll have it done by Thursday for you, because I've got a goal, and I know how to achieve it. And then, but then, yeah, like kind of paperwork side of things, accounting side of things, all that is not my strong point. So I struggle with that in terms of on the business side. And then finance is the main one, because when we went to build our Newport Market, the shop front that we have now, I don't know why, but I just didn't quite know how much things were, or how much people got paid to then put those things up on the wall. And I'm not the best at, you know, I couldn't do some tiling or something. I could maybe cut some wood or do something. Yeah, I can put some shelves up. I'm not a complete idiot, but like tiling or something, or any kind of plumbing or any, you know, you've got to get workmen in. And when they turned around and said, yeah, it's going to be 10 grand to fit the shop, I went, 10 grand? I was thinking like 2. You know, like, I'm way off. So that was, I kind of went, okay, shit, well, we need some money now then, you know? Like, we've been making a bit of money, but I've been spending it. It's, you know, it's a lifestyle business in that sense. I work, I get the money. The business isn't making money. You know, we're not turning over profit and paying corporation tax. I'm just going, sweet, I just got paid $1,000 this week. Happy days, you know? See ya. Buy some more ingredients with it. But you can't have a week off in that model. So yeah, it was that, having to go to the bank and go, can I have a 10 grand loan, please? And then go, wow, what's your numbers and your figures? And you go, I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, it's a Welsh cake business I started on the whim. I don't really know, you know? So in that sense, yeah, finance of it was hard, and it made you realise how much money you need behind you to like start a business. Yeah, that was definitely difficult.
So was there a point where you're in the business, you've got your shop front now? Is there any moment in time where you've gone, oh shit, I'm a business owner? Right?
Yeah, today. Yeah, sometimes I do go. Or say I got a holiday in October, and I still went to go. Who do I book that off with? Do you know what I mean? Is it like, yeah, it's a funny one that and then I got to go, well, actually I do have to book it off. I've got to let the staff know that they'll be taking over some of my hours there, and I don't do loads of hours at the shop anymore, but like, you know, I'm always there for them in terms of anything goes wrong or whatever, and I still do like maybe 15 to 20 hours a week in the shop still, just because it's nice to be there and make sure everything's going well, and you know, it's good to have that presence there. And it means I make a bit more money if I'm not paying staff to be there as well. But so yeah, I tend not to. I'm very in the moment, right? So if I'm sat here with me and you now, this is what I'm doing. I'm not really thinking about anything else. which is both a benefit to whoever I'm with, but it's a bit of a downside to anyone I'm not with, because I'm not thinking about them, right? I'm just in here and I'm just doing this in this moment. So I don't tend to actually step outside too often and go, shit, I'm business owner. Have I got to do this? Should I be doing this and that? And like, I don't dress the way people want me to dress, and I don't. I tend to just wear a branded t-shirt, some shorts, and some flip-flops, and I'll wear that deep into December. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm very rarely taking that outside look, and I probably should more and go, right, what are my responsibilities and my things? So I tend not to get overwhelmed, but that's only because I got blinkers on, right? I'm like one of those police horses, just like on the job, you know? So yeah, but it can become quite a realization sometimes, and you go, oh, shit, yeah, the buck ends with me, you know? Like, so yeah, yeah.
On that point, I get that with my friends a lot. They'll be like, oh, book some time off for this. I'm like, yeah, okay. And they think it's so easy. Are you going to take a day off? Yeah. You got one boss. I've got potentially hundreds.
Yeah,
I gotta rearrange all my work for the day.
Yeah.
People just don't get it when they're not self-employed.
No, they don't. Like, when you go home from work, when you just do a job, you just go home from work and it's over. It must be such a lovely feeling. I've forgotten what it feels like, actually. But because I am such an in-the-moment person, like I went away for the 3 days for my friend's wedding recently, I was pretty away. I was gone, you know. A couple of beers helps with that, I think. But it's one of those ones where I'm actually all right at switching off, but it's the crash back to reality when I go. I message Roz and just go, please come to the shop tomorrow when I'm there and make me remember all the stuff I need to remember, because a lot of it's gone right now, you know. Yeah.
It is difficult. I went away recently with 4 business owners, and they only went away for 4 nights. I was thinking 4 nights is not enough, but then I got it then, because you're kind of not out of work mode. You can still pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
Away for a week, you're like, what's happened?
Oh, a week is such a long time. Oh yeah. I would never go no emails, no phone, no WhatsApp for a week ever. I don't think that'll ever happen again unless I sell the business, you know. Like, but yeah, a week's a long time. 7 whole days.
Yeah, it is difficult.
There's no chance.
And of course, me and somebody else I was with actually had 2 emergencies we had to deal with as well. So
yeah.
we sat there on our phones trying to work it all out, you know, trying to liaise with people back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
But I can do it in a couple of hours. You know, I can do, if I sit down and I do 2 hours of concentrated, right, sit down now, Joe, let's focus, let's just bash through those emails. Obviously with Roz now, the VA, she's just amazing. I can't sing her praises enough. With her, I can say, look, I'm going away for a week. Here's the FAQs, kind of, you know, you can handle this, and then when I'm back, give me the list, and then I'll go at it for a day when I'm back. So I could probably do 7 days now with an hour a day, maybe. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
It's a nice feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
So, what's been your biggest failure in business or setback, and what has that taught you, and have you learned from it?
Yeah, biggest failure for sure. And like, I don't like to actually look at things in terms of failure, but in terms of, because we started a cafe, and the cafe just didn't quite do much more than break even, and we ran it for nearly a year. So in that sense, the cafe was a failure, right? We started it and it closed. But the amount of things I learned from that, okay, you can never perceive it as a failure in that sense. But God, the cafe was just costs. It was cost. We opened it on a budget, and we really we all chipped in and made it all work. I have friends and family doing everything in there, and they all did it for a pack of Welsh Cakes or a beer afterwards or whatever it was, you know. And we ran a lovely little comedy night from there that was really successful, and we kind of, you know, the things we learned from that were location. Dude, if you open something, everyone always thinks selling coffee is like, well, look, it only costs you 4p a cup. And you go, yeah, but I only sell it for £3.50. If you're lucky. That's an expensive coffee, right? Well, maybe not at the moment, but let's say, for example, you do sell it for £3.50. Yes, you made whatever that is. Let's say it was 10p. You made £3.40 on that, or whatever it was. Great, massive turnover, like profit wise. But to take a £3.50 coffee payment and make the coffee, and you need a queue of people all day to take £1,000. You want to take £1,000 selling fucking single coffees? Bro, like, It's a long time to get from £3.50 to £1,000. Whether you make 900 of that grand or not, it doesn't really massively matter because energy bills are expensive. Like, it's like staff is expensive. So you've got to take into account how much it costs you for that person you're paying to make the coffee and then take that transaction. You need crazy footfall to make a coffee shop work. That's why they're on high streets. That's why they're everywhere like that, right? So it's really, really difficult to make money from that. And fair play to any coffee shops or cafes or whatever that are running and successfully running, because you've got to be turning people over. People. Plus then there's competition from the big guys who sell shitloads of coffee and don't pay any tax and stuff, and you go, like, don't even want to mention their names in this conversation, but we all know the S's and the C's and the, like, and it's just like, yeah, they can make loads of money because they don't pay any tax. Like, it's really difficult, and they get the import prices even lower, so those margins are even bigger. It's like, so I learned very quickly that that's a really tough game. And actually, do I want shop fronts? Do I really want shop fronts that require staff and me to pop in and blah, blah, blah? So that's when we kind of, from that learning curve, we went, right, what can we run from our kitchen plus our shop unit in Newport? Well, we can run corporate gifts, we can run weddings and events and stuff like that. And we don't have to have the bricks and mortar. So we learned a lot from that. And we had to really, I could have kept the cafe running and being 10 times as much stressed and probably a little bit poorer. And that would have been the ego of me going, no, I'm going to make the cafe work. And I just went, you know what? It's okay. You're allowed to lose, man. You're allowed to take a risk. You're allowed to swing and miss. Like, you get more pitches. Like, it's fine. So I just went, do you know what? I'm going to wash my hands of this. And then everyone's always got, you should be doing this, blah, blah, blah. You can't just have a Welsh Cake cafe. You've got to be doing this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, I really, honestly, as much as it would be lush to do focaccia sandwiches and it'd be lush to do full English breakfast. I don't have a kitchen in here. I'm not about to invest any more money in this fucker. And I think we just don't have the footfall. And I'm just making the call, man. And now someone's opened a cafe in that exact same building. And she does all the things that everyone said you should do, and she's right on the verge of closing because it's not working. You go, yeah, you need more footfall there. It's tough, man. Like, it's tough out there,
I was just about to say on that as well. I was listening to you thinking when you said about you don't want to focus on negatives, but everything is not a negative. There's a lesson from it, and from that you kind of identified that you could do corporate gifting. So it was a bit of a blessing in disguise there, wasn't it, really?
If you're still alive, everything's a positive.
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn.
2 questions on that then. How have you found moving into the corporate gifting side?
Yeah.
And also, during that process of you going through those lessons, you said that you were able to kind of cut the ties on that and move on. But there's a lot of people in business who just keep going and keep going in the hope that it'll work.
Yeah.
Where do you kind of draw the line on, this isn't working, we now need to change course?
Is it making money? In the first 2 months, 3 months push, and I let it go past that. That's my new rule now. Am I gonna, I could pick up and go and start doing farmers markets on the weekends again. We probably sell about 1,000 Welsh Cakes on a weekend. It wouldn't be too bad. Once I've paid someone to go there and I pay travel costs and the setup time and I take my time into account as well. Am I paying myself £4 an hour, or am I paying myself £50 an hour, or am I paying myself £150 an hour? I'm the CEO, right? Maybe if I'm going to go and do a talk at your college or teach people how to make Welsh Cakes, then maybe my time should be £150 an hour. Why shouldn't it be? So if I'm going to put my time into something as well, if it's got to make that money, right? It's got to take yourself into account and the stress it brings. So yeah, very quickly for me, I'm like, if it's not bringing. And no bricks and mortar will bring in that money for me, unfortunately. And no amount of going to markets and selling will do that. So that's why the corporate gifts is just like, well, yeah, it's another thing where I can just message one of the girls in the kitchen and go, we got an order for 150 packs of 3 going out today. It's 4 hours work for her while she's already at the shop anyway and serving customers and doing that. Maybe I got to pop in for an hour to finish it off. And I go, it's 150 packs of 3. That's worth 500 quid to me. Boom. I haven't had to go anywhere. I haven't to pick up tools necessarily. And, and that's the amount of stock we've got going anyway, you know. So it's like, yeah, for me, if things aren't making money straight away, I'm kind of not doing it, you know.
Yeah, it's a good pivot to maximise your space as well, as you said, because you're not just relying on the footfall, because that, I'm sure, peaks and troughs quite regularly.
Yeah, and that's what we've got going on right now. If I had a kitchen that was specifically to run the corporate gifts and events side of things, I probably wouldn't make enough money off corporate gifting and events to warrant having an entire kitchen that I've probably got to pay £900 a month for. Do you know what I mean? I would, but it'd be like, well, this is kind of it's kind of like a zero-sum game almost, you know. And then if I had Newport Market, although it's great, and it's like the footfall isn't really enough to just be selling Welsh cakes at £1.20 each there. So it's both. Boom. If it's both, we're loving life, you know. I make a bit of money from Newport Market just being the shop front, and I make a nice bit of money from the corporate gifts and the events, and it's all done in one space. Then it's sweet. We're making money. Let's go. Let's carry on, you know.
How have you found support? Is in, you know, mentorships or networks? How have you found those to? Have they been of value to you? Would you recommend it? Yeah,
hugely. I hate the cliche talk, but your network is your net worth, for sure. That's why I go to BNI. That's where we know each other from, is BNI, Business Networking International. It's fantastic. You can be on the phone to the financial advisor, the accountant. You can be on the phone to the business advisor. You can be on the phone to all these incredible, or even there's just the trades, right? You go, the pipes burst, they're there in an hour, you know, like Phil Stokes is on the other end of the phone in a second, you know, so the electrics are gone, Mark's there, you know, it's like, it's all that stuff where you go, having that close-knit network. And the only way I think you can really, truly get that is if you've got loads of friends who do loads of different businesses, right? Which some people are lucky to have, and I've got a few doing a few different things. Or you have a dedicated group like BNI where you all agree, I'm going to pay this and I'm going to turn up every week and we are going to become each other's network, and I'm added to yours and you're added to mine, and that's great, and everyone you've got is added to everyone I've got, and that's fantastic, and that literal network grows in like just insane sizes. And then my family and my friends are just the number ones as well, like that comes above everything else in terms of moral support, and sometimes like financial support as well. Like, you know, back in the day, obviously my mum helped me a lot, even if it was just childcare. Can you fucking take these kids for just for a couple of hours so I can do these things, please? Just take. And my mum loves my kids anyway, right? She'd have them every second of every day. If she could, she'd have them move into the house. My sister's amazing. Like, she just had, you know, my sister's a writer by trade, a comedy writer by trade, and just little things when you're writing little copies for stuff and like, just little stuff like that. Where she helped me with my best man speech recently. It was a super success. My sister's the best. So it's kind of like it's all that. My nan still comes and does master classes with me. So if I've got like over 10 people booked for a master class, which is kind of the minimum, it is quite difficult for me to manage 10 people in a room all going, I've never done this before. Yeah. Like, am I doing this right? And my nan can go over and, you know, Grams will look after you, blah, blah, blah. Liz, you know, she'll look after you. So she comes to every masterclass with me, puts a little penny on, and like kind of, so friends and family are just the number one. I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed to have amazing friends and family, like incredible friends and family. I've had friends who've come, bought 200 Welsh cakes off me at the end of a market in London just so we can go to the pub a little bit earlier, and, you know, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's friends like that who will just come and they share on their stories and stuff. Like, you have no idea how much that is such a positive effect. People just sharing your stuff. It's just like, you'll get a couple of follows out of it, and then those people might share, and it's just, they're the best.
Do you know what? I find it surprisingly quite rare. I think a lot of people in business, their family doesn't always support them, so I think you're lucky to have that kind of support of them. But that was kind of my next question, really, was I was going to ask is, how involved now is your family in the business? You mentioned obviously your nan goes to the classes, but how involved are they overall in the business? Yeah,
pretty involved, just because it's kind of, when you are the business owner, it kind of like, what's those like Venn diagrams? It's like the crossover, and it's like me in the middle.
Yeah.
And the business circle loops over that, and the kids circle loops over that, and the relationship circle loops over that, and then maybe you're another circle that loops over all of that, trying to, because you're in it and outside it, right? So you're trying to. It's a mad tightrope to always be walking. So I think even if they're not directly supporting you in the business in that aspect, like I said, just say, Mum, can you have the kids for 2 hours while I just go and do a couple of things? That is business support, because I am the business and the business is me, and we're just entangled at this point. So like we are one. So whenever you support me in anything I do, you're supporting my business, you know? So yeah. And for sure, it's completely entangled at this point. So, but yeah, my nan does do the masterclasses with me. My mum and my sister will definitely help when we've got big events on and we need 3,000 Welsh cakes in the next couple of hours or whatever. They'll come. You know, if I book them off and I say, "Can you give me that day or give me that few hours?" They'll come and they'll be there in a second. Yeah, for sure, they're amazing.
Nice, man. It's good.
Yeah.
So, leading on, I told you this is about health and wellness and business.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to know, as a man who owns a Welsh cake business, but who's also into his health, how do you not just get fat off Welsh cakes?
Oh, mate, it's an everyday struggle, I'll be honest with you. The days I work as well. Look, I find things like little challenges for me. I like having little challenges. So earlier on in the year, I did the 75 hard, which I think I got to date like 69. And I fell asleep after I got a leg injury, and I was going to go for a walk. All I had left to do that day is my 45-minute outdoor activity, and I was literally just going to go outside and hobble. Right, I was just going to go out and hobble. I had a bad knee from a bad Muay Thai sparring session, and I just fell asleep on the sofa at like 9 p.m. waiting for my partner to come back from the gym. She came back, made noise, tried to wake me up. I was passed out. I was absolutely out of it. And so I failed at day, I'm sure it was day 69 or day 67, I want to say, something like that. But that was, you know, pretty much 3 months of fully sober, fully training twice a day, fully like going hard at it. And that was 3 months of, I didn't eat a single Welsh cake for 3 months. It was wild. I felt like a fraud, you know? I was like, I haven't even eaten a single Welsh cake because, yeah, the part of the 75 hard thing, if people are listening and look it up, one of the rules that you have to stick to is no cheat meals. You can't have a single cheat meal for back-to-back days. They have to be 75 consecutive days. So yeah, that was crazy for me to not actually eat a Welsh cake. Like, I think in a healthy life there is plenty of room for having a little something. I don't necessarily love calling them treats, because I'm not a Labrador. Like, I don't have treats. I'm not, you know, giving paw or anything. I just, you know, I really enjoy tasty things. Not all tasty things are good for you. I think a lot of tasty things, I can have a whole week of eating delicious foods I absolutely love. That it's great whole foods, incredible whole foods, but a hot cake with a bit of ice cream on it, come on son, like that's a bit of me. I've got a like morbidly obese person inside me that I have to like beat away with a stick every single day. It's hard. One of the ways I do that is I train really hard. I will go to the gym and I will beast myself, or I'll get up before anyone else is awake and go for a run. I love those quiet streets when literally no one's around. You don't even see a car. It's 5 a.m. and you're running. Like, it's the best feeling in the world once you're out. When the alarm goes off, it doesn't feel like the best feeling in the world, but it's that dangling carrot, you know. You're like, I will be out there. Even if it's pissing down rain, I'm going to be out there. So I try and train really hard pretty much every day. I try and stick to the 80-20 rule, which is 80% of the time I'm incredible. I'm not having any kind of a cheat or treat meal. And then 20% of the time, I can kind of do what I want. So an easy way to split that is weekdays, weekends. Nice, easy. On the weekends, I'll have a bit of cake and I'll have a burger, and with the bun and with the chips and with all that stuff, you know. So
should be alright.
The biffa bins are outside. Yeah. So yeah, I try and stick to like a nice 80-20 rule. Train really hard so you're just keeping your body solid and needing fuel. And then I'm lucky. I love fruit and veg and meat. I love them. I love all the bad stuff. I love all the good stuff as well. If it's put together well, I'm going to enjoy it. And I love cooking as well. I cook for my kids. I cook for me and my partner. You know, like I enjoy doing the cooking. I never do meal prep necessarily because I don't like to look at 5 plates of dish and go, that's what I've got this week, you know. I do, but saying that, I have used those meal prep companies, a few different ones. There's loads out at the moment. I'm going to start using some promo codes. Play them off against each other. But the meal preps do help if you can afford them. Sometimes it's actually cheaper than if you just bought all your food. Like I think for like 80 quid, you can have 10 meals. That's pretty good, man. I'm always eating on the move, so I'm always buying bits of food and trying to make it the healthy option anyway. At the end of the day, man, it's all about calories in, calories out. So you just got to be mindful of it. Calorie counting apps are amazing. I try and use them. I use Lane Norton's one, Carbon Diet Coach. It's really good. You can scan labels or you can put in prepped meals and stuff like that. That is really good. Just for keeping you on track. Because I could very easily, very, very easily eat 6,000 calories in a day. Like I fucking that wouldn't be fucking hard work for me.
No.
So I mean that would be me just not mindfully eating, you know? But it's mindfully going, okay, 2 Welsh cakes is enough. Let's chill, you know? Choose your 2 favourite ones, make them nice and hot, have a little scoop of ice cream. Not a massive dollop of ice cream, just a little scoop of ice cream. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm really lucky as well. Like I said, I like fruit. I love like a bag of frozen cherries. Bag of frozen cherries as a snack. In the van. Beautiful. Love that. No gout for me, you know, like, yeah. So, yeah, just try and have a bit of a balance. 80-20, that stuff, you know.
I think as well, as a business owner, you said then, you know, meal prep companies, although they can sometimes be expensive, the time that I've saved.
Yeah.
Like I was having fresh food delivered every morning to my doorstep, and it's done. I haven't got to think about what It's great.
You've got to take it out the packaging and warm up a meal.
Yeah.
Boom.
Great.
You like, and then eat it, and then what's really good about them as well is you go, that is my lunch today. None of that like, I'll have a little bit more out of the bowl, or I made a nice chili or something, and I end up or weighing your food, and fucking hate weighing my food. I've done it before, and it's just like, that's when you realise, shit, I'm eating 7,000 calories. When I'm on a good day. That's not with a donut. That's not with a Welsh cake. That's me just thinking those meals are normal sized, healthy sized meals. They're not. They're for massive people, you know, like there's sumo stuff, you know, like, so those just going, that's lunch. And so maybe I'll eat that lunch a little bit slower so that I feel a bit fuller at the end of it, and I'll chew it a bit more and savour it. Because once that last spoonful is gone, lunch is done. And now you've got to wait for dinner. And you're going to have dinner in 2 hours and then be starving at 4 o'clock. Or you're just going to take your time with your lunch. So the meal prep is really good. I might order some meal prep after this, actually.
It's been inspired.
I just sold it. I sold it to myself.
Running a business can be stressful. So obviously you're looking after yourself. How did you get into, you know, were you always into health and wellness, or has that become a more recent thing?
Yeah, not so much health and wellness, like from an aspect of like, this is healthy or this is good for you. When I was very young, when I was 13 years old, I was quite an overweight kid. And I think when you're 11 and 12, you kind of know, but you don't really know. 13, maybe for some people is 14, 15, I just became very body aware, very conscious of the fact that like some people looked a certain way with their clothes off and some people didn't, and I was one of them who didn't. And I went, I don't fucking like this feeling whatsoever. I needed to stop. And it wasn't like I was an unactive kid, but I was just one of those kids who could just eat. So I'd come home from school and have 2 bowls of cereal before dinner, and then I'd have 2 helpings of dinner, and then I'd probably have some snacks just before bed. And it's like, you're having a 4,000 calorie fucking between 3 and 9 p.m. Like, that's mental, man. I could just do it. And my mum didn't, because she's so lovely and not restrictive at all, and it's such a beautiful open household where you can have any conversation in the world. But she didn't have the conversations with me that were difficult to go, Joe, you can't have 2. And you ever seen 20 grams of cereal? Oh, bro. I'm having 15 times that in a bowl, and I'm having 2 bowls. I'm having a 30 serving bowl of cereal with full fat milk and cream on top sometimes. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, come on. So when I was, I think I was about 12, and I went, I don't like this feeling. I think I fancy girls. and I don't think they fancy me. And I think something needs to change. So 13, I went up to a boxing gym, Penarth ABC. I had a friend whose dad had recently died, so we became a bit closer because my family took his family in. We kind of, him and his mum would come to ours for Christmas and stuff like that. And he was going to the boxing gym, and he was a bit of a chubby kid, but starting to look a bit slimmer and look a little bit better. And he said, yeah, come up to the boxing gym with me. Went up to the boxing gym, and I was actually just really good at it as well. Not only did I love it, and I love the community, and just as brutal in a boxing gym. There's no time for pissing about and being a bit of a fanny. Like, you gotta hold your own, and you gotta show up and do hard work. And I was actually good at boxing, so I think within my kind of first year, I had my first fight, and it was a big one as well. It was a hometown fight. It was in Cogan Leisure Centre. And it was against this kid who was he was supposed to be a bit of a hard boy around Barry. Jack Williams, I want to say his name was. Yeah. And I won very convincingly. And I think maybe less than a year later, I'd won a Welsh title. I'd won another Welsh title after that. I got some British silver medals. And next thing you know, there was sponsorships, and there was I was going to college then, so I was about 17 years old, going to college. Basically didn't do anything for my first year of college because all I did was box. And they just let me have a pass, basically, because I was doing sports coaching and fitness anyway, so it was like, well, you are doing it, so it's fine, we'll give you a pass. I think you're representing Wales. And I was going to the Youth Commonwealth Games in Pune in India, and I got a bronze there, which should have been a silver, but they don't let you fight for silver. So I did sport, and I did it very hard, and I did it very effectively, but not because of wellness. This was probably before wellness was even really a thing, maybe. I think I went to the Youth Commonwealth Games in 2008, I want to say. And yeah, so never for wellness. I do it for wellness now. I do it also just because it keeps me sane. If I haven't exercised in a day, which I haven't today, I'm like everything's coming out. I need to go to the gym and just smash some heavy bags, or just do some horrible sprints or something, or lift some nasty weights. So yeah, I do it for a multitude of reasons. Probably last on the list is cause it's keeping me healthy. I think one, I enjoy it. Two, it just calms me down. Okay, I can have a little breathe now, and it means I can eat some food now as well, some nice food, and not think too much about it.
Not feel too guilty.
Yeah, not feel like a fat pig. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I do it for those reasons. But there was a big gap in my life between 18 and kind of 25, I want to say, where I did not. And I gained a lot of weight, and I was just mental, running around all the different countries, just being a madman. And yeah, so I'm probably the healthiest I've ever been now because of awareness of it rather than for a reason. But yeah. But when I boxed, God, I was probably physically strong in terms of my core, or my the push against. God, I couldn't bench press. When I was training to box, it was a very old school gym. I think all the gyms were old school back then. You didn't touch weights. That was one of the things. It was plyometrics didn't exist to my coach. He didn't know what plyometrics was and how using weight can actually make you super explosive and powerful. You just weren't allowed to touch weights. You weren't allowed to do it. You did press-ups, and you did sit-ups, and you did running, and you did burpees, and you did fitness stuff, but God, you didn't touch weights. That would slow you down. You weren't even allowed to go swimming. You weren't allowed. If my coach found out you went swimming, mate, you'd have 15 rounds sparring back to back, and it'd be a different kid every round, so they were super fresh, and you'd be getting spanked. You didn't go swimming. It's gonna tighten your shoulders up. It's gonna it's mad. But now they know. Now it's completely different. There's so many different aspects. Look at Usyk, for example, and his gym. They barely spar. They barely do boxing training, it looks like sometimes. He's pissing around with a bouncy ball on his head and doing dance classes, and they barely spar. And he's champion of the world. He's from Lomachenko's gym, right? And they're both incredible. And it is that different aspect. They swim a lot, because it opens up your shoulders. It doesn't tighten you up. Doing boxing all the time tightens you up. It's So yeah, it would have been a very different time if I'd started now, maybe,
It's good fitness, though.
It's the best fitness. I always think, people always say there's muscle memory. So strong people, they're kind of always strong, you know, like people who could, if you could ever deadlift 250 kg, you can never not bench lift 150 kg, probably ever in your life. Maybe you'd be 60 and do it, right? There's that kind of muscle memory. And if you let it go, but then try and bring it back, the muscle memory thing of like, you can get strong really quickly again. I think you've got fitness kind of memory, you know, like you got like cardio memory, where people are just, who run with me are just like, how are you doing that? Like, I've been training for years to do this. I'm like, yeah, as an adult. But when I was 17, I was doing hill sprints, hundreds of them, you know, like, I was, you know, training twice a day, you know, every day of the week. Sunday was a day off because you trained once, and that was sparring against all the other kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, my fitness level was different to what you've never touched where I've touched, you know? You've never gone to those super depths. So now when I train for fitness reasons, I get quite fit quite quickly, and people are like, "Whoa, Jesus Christ, you can do 100 burpees quite quickly." I'm like, "Yeah, I've done 10 million burpees before." Do you know what I mean? Like, but also you put me on a bench press, and I'll be like, 80 kilos on there. I'm like, I don't think I can do it, you know, because I'm not strong. But the fitness side of things definitely comes back quick, you know.
How important is that in business now?
As in health and well-being fitness, or just...
As in looking after yourself, because my experience personally is obviously whenever I ruin my health and I don't put my health first, the business is a nasty side effect where the business will start to fail too.
Of course, yeah.
How is that? Have you found that affected you in any way at all?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the better I feel, the better the business goes. Again, like I said, you're kind of entwined, right? It's, the business and you is one thing. It's one entity. So if you feel like shit, you're going into things with a little bit less confidence, and am I a bit of am I a fraudster? Is it, you know, like, so it's kind of like, it's, if you're entwined like that, if you as the singularity, as the thing apart from the business, you know, aside from the business, is failing, the business is going to fail. Like, I think Marie Forleo, she's an amazing, like, kind of American, she's very American, but she's a business coach in that aspect, and she's always like, taking an hour at the beginning of your day to get your shit right is the best. Don't feel bad because you took an hour away from the business. You didn't. You took an hour away to focus on you, to make yourself the best you can be this morning. If that's an hour of stretching, if that's going out for a run, if that's just doing some breathing techniques or some yoga or some meditation, whatever it is, if you're coming into the business solid then you've got a good solid day's work ahead of you. If you go in stressed and you're basically on the edge of heart failure, then what's going to happen when you drop dead? Because if I drop dead tomorrow, my business is gone, right? No one's like, can't wait to pick up this shield. You know, like, no one's waiting to do that, right? So if I fail physically, mentally, break down and fail, so does the business. So it's like, you've got to put yourself first. You've got to don't feel guilty about going to the gym for an hour and a half on your lunch break when you could have been working through your lunch break. Don't feel, no. You've got to go in solid, man. And I think that side of things as well, in terms of fitness and breaking through difficult barriers, like running that extra mile when you don't want to, or doing that extra sprint, or pushing that weight, or getting a PR, that helps you when things are getting tough in other aspects of your life. If you do hard things are easier. If you purposely make yourself do real nasty stuff in the gym, later when someone's like, oh, there's another order on, blah, 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 you'd be like, all right, sweet, man, we can do it. You know? I did a PR earlier. Like, I'm just, do you know what I mean? I just deadlifted twice my body weight. Let's go, man. I'm fucking ready. Like, we've got to put another order on. We put another order on. I'll see you at the post office in half an hour, you know? So, like, you just, it's water off a duck's back then, you know? It just makes life easier when you do hard things, so...
I think it's important as well when you've got a team as well, and you're looking after yourself, you perform better for your team.
Yeah.
I've seen people who are, I mean, me myself, I can say I've done it, where I've been not my best, and I've been snappy at people.
Yeah,
they got something wrong, okay, granted, but they're learning.
Yeah.
And because I'm not well, I'm just like going on them, where when I'm fine, I'll be like, oh, okay, that's no problem, you know, we'll look at that, you know.
It's the same as parenting as well, man. And you're a parent, I know, and it's that, like, you've got to be the example. So if my kid's going, something mad in their toddler brain has gone wrong, and you're like, bro, The thing you were about to eat broke before you were about to eat it. You know, your OT bar broke before you were going to eat it. What do you think it's going to do in your mouth? You're going to break it down and eat. But obviously they're toddlers, right? They don't understand. So you've got to set the example and just try and explain to them, like, look, it's the same as when, watch, I'll take a bite out of this. Look what happens to it in my mouth. It's all, and you've got to keep calm. If you go, it doesn't make a matter, like, then next time when something's going wrong, they're mirrors, bro. So if you're getting mad at your kids for something, you're just getting mad at yourself, you know? Yeah. And you just got to be that business owner as well. If under pressure you are calm, cool and collected and someone does something wrong and you go, that's cool, man, look, we can recover from this. Next time the shit's hitting the fan, they're going to go, that's cool, man, we can recover from this. Instead of going, I'm an idiot, oh no. Like, they'll go, it's cool, man, Nathan showed me this before, it's fine, we can fix this, you know?
Yeah.
You've got to be the example, man, like in life in general, for parenting, business, and just anyone around you. If you be an example, and sometimes it'll make you go, what example should I be showing now? And then you'll do something different. You'll react differently then, you know?
I love all these sayings that people, like, as you grow up, your grandparents hand you down sayings, and like, monkey see, monkey do, that type of thing. I think when you put it into practical life, that's right, isn't it? How you carry 100%. Yourself is important. People perceive it in a certain way.
Yeah.
So looking back on everything then, your journey, with the businesses you've had, the businesses you've got, what you've got now and where you're going, how have you grown personally? What's been your biggest lessons for you? We just talked about, you know, how you carry yourself. You know?
Yeah. Taking full responsibility is so important. Like, even when it's probably not on you, maybe more so when it's not on you, and just going, I could have done that better, man. Like, the other day, I've got a girl who works for me, and I remember having this conversation with her where I said, look, I'm away next week, so I need you to do Thursday and Friday, where I would normally do Thursday and Friday. But I didn't text it to her. Right, I didn't alter things on the rotor, or I didn't, you know, like, there's things I could have put in place that would have guaranteed it. Now, when I messaged her on Wednesday saying, can you go in an hour early Thursday because this order's come up really last minute and they want to make a slight change to it, so I think it'll take you an hour longer than maybe expected. She went, early? Am I in tomorrow? And I went, I'm literally packing up, ready to go to this wedding, like getting my suit from the shop and doing all these last little minute things. And I went, yeah, we had a conversation about it the other day. I'm really sorry, I didn't text you. I should have just reminded you via text. I'm so glad I've texted now. Shit, there was going to be no one in the shop for 2 days. Do you know what I mean? Like, and she's gone, oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, this is entirely my fault, man. Like, you gotta go, I should have had all the processes in place. This is never your fault. It's 100% my fault. As the business owner, as the boss, bro, it's my fault.
Yeah.
If my kids are crying about something and I think it's completely out of whack and not necessary, it's my fault. They've probably seen me drop something in the kitchen and go, for fuck's sake. You know, like, it's me, man. It's always you. You've always got to, that mirror is always holding up. So I think that's one of the things, mainly as a parent, that taught me that. And all the parenting advice that is out there, and they all just stem from the same thing, man. Like, just, it's always looking back at you. You're the secret recipe. You're the magic in the thing. But you're also the main pain in the arse. You're the reason it all goes wrong, and you're the reason you might be frustrated right now. It's always that, what could you have done better? And then you just improve, and then you become better, but there's always improvement to be made. So yeah, I think that's my main takeaway from being a business owner, also being a parent, is like, it's on you. It's always on you, baby. You just gotta work a bit harder. You gotta just do a bit harder. You gotta have learned from lessons previously, you know?
Yeah, that's certainly something I've been sort of exploring with recently. Is it's easy to blame other people.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've actually had experiences where I've kicked off at people and I've like walked away later, gone, that was fucking my fault. I realised later that that was my fault.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm not going to tell them that.
You might have a list in like 10 years of people you got to go, bro, remember that time?
If I die, you're all getting messages. Remember that time? Sorry.
Yeah. It's on a timer. It'll send out.
That's right. Yeah. But in all seriousness, someone said to me, "It's always your fault." I was like, "No, it's not though." No, it's always your fault. And I started to think about it. It's like, I know what they mean now, because there's something I could have done better. Like when I send an email now, I do send long emails, but I'm trying to cover every single thing.
Yeah.
So someone doesn't go, oh, well, I thought you meant this. I'm like, no, I got it there for you. So I have found taking more responsibility for everything I do is a little bit better, and life just seems easier that way.
And even if it's 100% not your fault, and it's just so obvious, the other thing you're then responsible for on the other side of that is your reaction to it. Like, you're always 100% down to blame for how you react to things. So losing your head at someone never ever benefits anyone, right? And this isn't me going around saying like I'm fucking Gandhi, and someone cuts me off or nearly crashes into the van. I'm not like, yo, like about to go mad. But it just means like afterwards I have to go, you can react to anything exactly how you want. Nothing is personal in life. You can make it so it's not personal ever, and you can just wander around the world being completely unaffected by when people are trying to negatively affect you, or even if they're not trying to negatively affect you. It's your choice, man. It can just bounce off you like armor, or it can affect you, and you can go through your day feeling a bit wound up and tight, and maybe a couple of things accumulate. You don't react, and then you get home and something happens. You go, ah! It's like, well, it wasn't about that, was it? It wasn't about something that got spilt or whatever. It was the accumulation of things throughout the day. So like maybe every 2 hours, just go, that happened and that happened, and just physically let it go. And then your tank's empty then, and you've got more tolerance with your kids by the time you get home at 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever it is. It's just so much better to just go, I choose how to react to everything, you know?
Yeah, I think for me personally, the health was a problem with that. When I was at my worst, I couldn't let it go. Someone would cut me up, I'd follow them home. Like, I don't care if they live 6 hours away. Until I cut them up again, you know?
Yeah.
Or something would happen, and I'd go on and on. And I'd be on the phone to, like, say, my mum, and she'd go, yeah, right. And just, because obviously I'd been repeating it for so long now, I was like, nothing's going to change. Yeah. It happened. The other guy's gone home, he's forgotten about me.
Yeah, exactly, you know? Yeah.
And I would hold on to that, and I feel like letting things go is so much better, because it clears up your mind to focus on more things. So, important message that. So, last question, Joe.
Yeah.
a bit of two questions in one. For someone wanting to start a business, what's your advice to him? Or, to rephrase it maybe, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself, what advice would you give? I don't think advice is ever good. I don't think advice is ever good. Don't do it.
I generally try not to give advice, just because every circumstance is so different in every aspect. But like, I would always love to have had a partner from the start, someone else to share those hours. And I know you've got to share the money, but also you get to share the stress, and you get to share the woes and the highs and the lows together. Now, I've had my family in that aspect for that a lot, and so I am lucky I kind of get a partner without getting a partner. But it's good to do something with someone. But then a lot of businesses that start off in partnership and end up ruining a friendship, you know? So it's kind of, I think, be really well planned is definitely something. Like, God, I don't think I've ever successfully finished a business plan. Do you know what I mean? Which is mad. But like, I don't advise that, you know? My advice would be very well planned, run the numbers, figure it out, be able to go, yes, this is what we could be doing, blah, blah, blah. But also there's an aspect of like, don't care that much on that. If you think something's working, if the universe is giving you a message and you genuinely believe, like, I think the world needs this. And this is me talking about Welsh Cakes. This is me talking about something that someone's going to do a way more important, kind of run a more important business with something. Is like, if you feel like you're getting a bit of a message and a bit of a leaning and a lean towards a thing, I think do it as well. You won't ever regret having tried something, is the main thing there. Kind of, you will regret going, fuck, would that have been a thing? Would that have been a good thing? You know, like, I think that's the main one. and just, you know, ideally be a millionaire before you start. That'd be great. You know, have shitloads of money, and loads of free time, maybe.
Yeah. No kids.
yeah. Ideally, no kids, loads of money. That would be good. But I think one of the main things you do want to do when you get into business is something like BNI. That network of people and those professionals, those trusted professionals that you can rely on every single day, and you meet them every week, and you look them in the eye and shake their hand and go, how's that thing that I passed you, or that thing you're going, that thing you gave me is going well, and that they're really great. And I know they're a bit expensive and it's a bit of a cost, but like for the sake of what you would spend on advertising and marketing and the amount of money you'll save yourself, knowing that people are giving you the right price for their services and their products and their trades, it saves you money in the long run. And obviously you make money from being in those networks, so the payoff is instant pretty much. You know, it's definitely within your first year. So yeah, I think get a good network for sure.
Yeah.
And run the idea through with friends and family, and even if you don't think you've got enough friends and family to run it through, like run it through the internet. What do you reckon about this? What's, you know, go on some forums or something, like, yeah, and do it for sure. Yeah, that would be my closing statement.
Mr. Granville.
Nathan Siddall, thank you so
mate.
much, mate. What a pleasure.